Hey, well, welcome to the Dream Labs, Dr. Contrast, and I am live. And Terrace, man, is it good to have you on board? And please excuse my delay in getting that email address back to you. I'd rather chat with you today about on the stream here about the email you sent. And I'm really thankful that you're sending those emails out on your sketch work. And I was going to respond by email, but I'm going to go live here and on the broadcast. I'm going to just chat with you a little bit. I just want to tell you how much you really are getting stronger and improving the technique process. And Terrace, it's fun to see that. It's great to have you send those sketches along. And I was really impressed with the structural piece you did, getting the volumetrics down, and then you went into some open wheel racing machines and just form studies. And the confidence in those sketches looked absolutely terrific. I mean, I was really delighted to see those things come together. So, do you have any comments before I begin here today? I'm going to go through a little bit of a technique process here this morning. Very simple, but very simple, just value studies, elevations. So sometimes elevations are taken as the stepchild of creativity, but there's an element there in an elevation that tells a big story. You've got to really think about the third dimension on that flat surface, and you've got to create that shape so begin to make that thing sing a little bit. So, but back to you and Terrace, just really, really well done. I mean, I've noticed from the very first go around, especially that empathic sketch, you're taking that translation now and getting a lot stronger with it. So I just recommend that you just keep working at it, and if I can be of any help to you, not that you need it, but if I can be of any help to you as time moves on, be more than happy to help you. Just great to see the progress being made. So let's hope we can get this thing put together here today. And before I begin, again, thank you, Terrace, for your dedication and sending emails along. I'm just really I look forward to it. I really sincerely do, and I look forward to seeing your progress go from a little bit of twilight into some real opening sunshine here, about getting a real good light shed on your skill set. It's there, no question about that. So keep working about it. And I'll tell you, it was really strange last week. I thought, good grief, I was all ready to go with this program here today with this the Place Coupe, and all of a sudden I start to line up the program, go through the whole process, get the stream all set up, and all of a sudden it blocked me from going live. And I couldn't find out what in the world was the problem. I thought it was an internal program, but here it was a thing called Cloudflare. It's a company that just chose to shut down and stop every progress being made visually on YouTube, Twitch, any transmission or communication channels. It lasted a full day and a half, and I thought, good grief, that was really odd. So my apologies for not being able to go live last week, but we got the problem solved. We're live here today, and and we'll just keep after it here. Pardon me. But again, it was a real shock. So let me go back to the subject matter here. I did some sketches ahead of time, and I just want to save some time here and go through the process maybe next week to show you how the line drawings came together. But I'll be working with just some value markers, maybe a little bit of color, sky color, and I picked up this pen. I'm not trying with this thing. It's like it's a contour. It's a Pentel fine line pen. And what I liked about it was I bought it because I thought it doesn't bleed when you put marker over the top of it. It just stays pretty stable. So there's a very few pens out there that do that. A ballpoint pen is notorious for running a marker over the top of it in technique work, because it just bleeds and turns into this purple ink, and you have to be very careful. So what I do, for example, when I get into some sketches similar to this, I'll go ahead and do some pencil studies and then convert them to copies, and then move that. The copy does not interfere the marker use on top of all that. So just really interesting. So let's give it a run here. And then Van Terrace, last comment. There's no problem at all. Just it's grateful for me to share those thoughts with you, and I'm being very sincere. Your progress is coming along terrifically. And again, I'll say it now and at the end of the stream. If there's anything I can do specifically to help you, put together a list of things and email and a note and say, hey, you'd like to see this, this, or this. And if I'm able to do that, I'll be more than happy to help you here. So let's get this thing moving here this morning, this afternoon. I'm going to go through just some very basic value studies here just to kind of lay this in. So I'm going to move this until I get this up just a bit and kind of lean into this thing a little bit. There's a little bit of tone in this thing. This I'm working with just running through very simple skins, looking for just does some value changes. And then moving into that little real bell here, a little bit of different look into that. Run that through. And again, same thing here. And then take that right through here in this tail section. A little bit of gray in the horizon line or glass. A little bit of highlight up on top there. very animated, and I think that's the hard part about working with marker. So sometimes we get really stiff with this stuff, and it looks like it, and it's just not right the way you go. Just very simple value settings here to kind of get the forms to read here. A little bit of reverse far side tire, and again, just kind of switch back here. Let's take a little bit of this thing, put a little bit of horizon line in this thing. Real loose. Just trying to get this Delegante Coupe squared away here. And again, let's get this backside tires a little bit more defined here. Try to do the best I can to not move the paper around. Concentrate on the sketch itself. Just a little bit of that insert piece. Just going to take this guy, slot that back. Let's slot this thing back. Lamp graphics up front. Hopefully we get that lined up. There we are. They're coming right off this tire. And just for what it's worth here, switch gears and get a little bit of color in this guy. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Put a bit of marker lamp in here. It's really fluid, simple stuff. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, my lab coat is out at the dry cleaners. I didn't get to pick it up yet, so that's why I'm just wearing the old Corvette shirt. So hopefully it will be okay. A little bit more detail here. Those lamp graphics to work. Let's go back and get this number 4 gray again here. Tuck this thing underneath here. A bit of shadow in that little core here. Run that through. And let's just switch gears and go to a broader tip here. A bit more pass through here. Just a bit of maybe a reflected horizon just through the baseline here. Take it through the machine. Run this in. A bit more surface work in the wheels. And again, just a little bit more of that into it. And shadow there, the surface work there, and let's put a little bit of sky tone in this thing, just to kind of take it away from being such a stark. There you go, a little bit more sky in that glass area there, and a bit of that reflected light down below. And that basically covers it, you know, that first sketch. I mean, it's a very simple pass here. I'm just trying to look at her variations on a theme. Do I want to have a missing code? It's not, fortunately, it's not missing. It's just getting dry cleaned, for God's sakes. I mean, it's just been an absolute nightmare. I mean, I do it about maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks, but I didn't have a chance to pick it up yet. So let's add a little bit of highlight here. And there it is. A bit of highlight on the glass here. A little bit of nomenclature in there. Let's use this pen. Try to get that in there. Sometimes I just really worry about, I'm concerned about some of these manufacturers that get into this stuff. They tell you it does this, and oftentimes it just doesn't meet the standards up here. So this kind of add that in place. Let's kind of put these back together again. Let's put a little bit of shadow in this thing here. That's better. There we go. A little bolder in the shadows. And the same thing on the backside here. Just a very simple definition of tires. Nothing really, just getting a character down. Basically, that's it. And again, just in here, let's kind of fill that in just a bit. There it is. And a little bit of secondary reflection in the glass here itself. Let's run it right through. Just nice and easy. Keep it consistent. And there she is. Another variation on theme here is a bit. Let's kind of do this, just a bit of shadow here on some of the tires. That backside look in here. And that kind of does it there for that process. But again, look at the variation and difference in what I'm looking for here and going through this exercise today is how to be able to take a shape and just begin to massage it. You know, you've got a basic theme down. You've got some pretty standard elements like the intake piece coming off the front wheel, the glass graphics, the fastback, almost speed tail like, and just looking at very simple areas. Just nice and easy and gentle as we go here. So there's one, and I've got a couple more to work with here. Let's get those out of the way. Let's go back in with the second plate and just kind of keep going along with this whole theme. And as I go through this, keep in mind, it's not an exercise in design change. It's more of an exercise in just refining some of the forms we've got already put together here. So let me go back in here and we'll just go back into some of the values and get this started. Stain it all in and work through it. Pardon me as I just rotate the pad just a bit here. I might have to need that to get the thruster to work. Just gonna get this all set up here. It's a simple gray. Run that through. That number one gray, just going to wash that in. Run that through. Just build that up. Let's take that down. Let's go back into a number 3 gray here. Pull that through. A little more distinction in that reflection. And sneak that through. Carry that through. One more time here. And let's just a little line study here through that shoulder. Just bring that right through. A bit of hot spot back there. Let's kind of tone this thing in just a touch. Back inside take. Backside tire. And there. And in this case, let's drop that rocker panel right on. So you already know what the forms are going to be. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Part of the rationale for the program today. I don't know what the forms are doing. All I'm doing is taking that basic overall shell in Terrace and just modifying some of the shapes, like the slope of the glass, the length of the body form, the hip point over the top of the rear wheels and so forth. Just changing some of the subtleties, making those elevations kind of sing a little bit. And that's a real trick. I think you're trying to make more of a dimension out of this thing, and that's what these elements are starting to look at. So it's a great question. Yeah, I do know what the shapes are doing, but I'm not really concerned about yet. How do I want to emphasize horizon line, glass, and so forth? So little details that come along the way make a huge difference here. So let me carry it on here. Get this down, tune this thing, and go to a much darker lower here. A little more impact in this thing. Just fill this in. A little bolder look. Same thing behind here. Just kind of kick that up just a bit. Let's do that. A little bit of sky in here. Warm this thing up a bit. Top of that, bring a little bit of that sky tone in here a little bit. Let's go back and get that accent in. Marker lamp. One there. Oh, my back on screen here. There we go. Sorry about that. There we are. And again, tail lamp graphic. Get a little bit of highlight on this front end graphic here. A little touches of hot spot. Maybe just a touch more of good solid accent on the horizon line here. I'm going to keep this real direct, not too fussy. There you go. That's that second shot out of here. What do you think? Terrace making sense? It's kind of a different approach to putting the pieces together here, and I think it's an intriguing part because it keeps it nice and solid, keeps the value system simple. And let me fill that in just a bit more. There you go. It's got it. And again, one more pass here, just through that upper corner around that hip. Over the top of that, into that hip. And then just a little bit more cosmetics right in through here. And we got it. And fill that in back here. Grade that off just a touch. And for it's worth, maybe get that pillar to kind of come back in and sing a little bit for us here. That A pillar. One last shot here. Let's get that rear section here. It just shows where the shadow is on this little intake piece here. And there it is. So there it should be right there. It looks very cool. And yeah, it's solid. I think that's, thank you, Antares. I think that's what we're after. It's a solid series of, we've got a theme. Now we're going to go back and look at these basic themes and change some graphics on this thing. And just subtle changes from front end to uppers, extending the wheelbase, etc. Nice and loose. Nothing really conducive here to cause any controversy. So let's just going to go back in here. And we'll start another one. Same process. Number one. Very simple. Bring this in. Some cases very animated, very simple things like that make a huge difference sometimes. Let's go back in here and get a number 4 grade. Just tone this in. Hit that skirt system rearward here. Oh, I'm on the screener. Yeah, good. Let's get them all up there. There you go. Look, another thing I'm looking at here too is how the proportions change. I mean, look at the slope of this upper here, and this is a little rounder, a little fuller, but still have hopefully the same impact. Let's run this through. Much more ground-based. And then run that right through into that little spoiler down below here. That's got to kind of change pace here. There it is. That's good. And again, let's get this guy tuned in here. Basic theme. Basic theme. Stand that back a bit. And let's just do this. That's adding a little bit of color here. Let's get that signal light in here. Oop, let me get back in pace. There we are. There's A. B. And again, a little bit of change of pace here. Keep that marker light up front here. And that's it. Let's kind of put this back together here. Let's go back and get this number 4 gray to kind of sneak in here. One more pass. Let's see, on the screen here. There we go. More animated in the wheels. Let's take that number 7 gray here. Just got to put a little bit of hot spot on this thing here. And last but not least, one more pass with this number 4 gray to kind of tone things back a little bit. And just for fun, maybe a little definition here down on the rocker area. Let's kind of put a shadow in this. Oh, my back here. There, good. There we are. Shadow there. A little bit of venting system here. And just for fun, just a variation of theme there. And for what it's worth, let's come back in and one more time with that number 4 gray, if I can find it. There it is. Let's see if we can warm that up a little bit with a little bit of sky in this thing. Lay that in first, then come back in and just drop it down just enough here. 3 gray. A little bolder look, and there she is. So, what do you think? Antares so far still good? Coming along all right? Fun stuff here. Just taking a peek at these guys. Let's do a little simplified form here. Let's get this guy right out of the way here. I'm just going to back in and just do a nice. The wheels down. Maybe just a nice little value, simple study here. Oop, let me get this back on screen. There we are. On screen, there we are. Good. Number 1. That's not it. There it is. Just got to pass a little bit of that light surface through here. Over the top of that hip. Keep it that simple. Bring this into play. Same way. Keep that nice and simple. Try that open just a bit. Run it through. Open it up. Fill in some of the blanks here. Stain it just a bit more. And last but not least, a little bit of shadow in this contour area here. Headlamp graphic. Oh, we see, yeah, good. A bit bolder in here. A little more tone in this thing. And there we go. Let's go with a nice solid block in here. And there it is. Let's see what this does here. A little bit of that backside tire in there, and we should be good. And let's see here. We got to beef this up a little bit here. And And there it is. That's a kind of one-page composition there. What do you think, Terrace? This design project. The story behind this design project is that I was looking at, for example, doing some work for a group here in town looking for some sedan variations and coupe variations. So what I did was put together a little simple line drawing here and presented it to the gang and said, yeah, that's got a lot of character to it. Let's do a little bit of exploratory work on how we can kind of change some of the surfaces here. It's an independent firm looking for some concept and ideas. I just thought, well, maybe take a look at maybe a nice variation, like call it the Delegante two-place. So that's what we're looking at here. And does that help to explain the story? Looking at just a very series of just really loose thumbnail sketches, not a lot of very loose and gesturally. Notice this, the wheels aren't filled in. I'm just looking at body form, how to change the upper, how to extend the tail lamp graphics, how to put the speed form to it, so to speak, and give it some real character. What do you think? Making sense? I'll just hang on here for a comment here, make sure it comes through okay. We're not looking for expertise or excellence. It's just getting the character down and putting some real loose studies together for these guys to evaluate and take a look at what's taking place with the shape itself. So interesting. Yeah, the process is interesting. Thank you, Terrace, because again, you've got from the very beginning. Your comment earlier about the fact I know what the forms are doing, but I really am not quite sure yet. Is it going to be lower, wider? Should it be extended? Should it be short-based? It should be a coupled system. Do you need to put this much emphasis? Do we need those little details and feelers into it? Yeah, I don't know, but that's what we're looking at here in terms of surfaces. So let me just kind of get this here out of the way, and we'll go through a couple more of these, and we'll kind of wrap it up here. There's another page I just want to look at here. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what the results are here as far as what the concept is going to, how it's going to unfold itself here, because it's nothing set in stone yet. They've got a package layout here, but we're just looking at the process of refine. So let's kind of look at this thing here, and let's come back in with the number 3 gray. Yeah, let's start there. So let's get this tone in here. Let me move this back to it just so it's square and not out of the way. There we are. I'm just going to work this way with it. Very simple. Maybe it's just a matter of just doing this page and just value a line, very little impact. Just let that go through. Let that go through. Maybe just tint this. Keep it real subtle. Let's go back here and get some of this stuff squared away. There it is. Let's come back down here just a little bit deeper here with the number 4 gray. Let's see what happens here. Just gotta get this toned in. Just subtle. See, subtle. Oh, let's get this back to square. There we are. fasten here. And just for what it's worth, let's go back to that number 1 gray and just kind of tone this back very simply. That. And come back in a little bit of sky tone here. That, and then we come back with a little bit of accent color here. And one last shot here, just enough to kind of give it a little bit of distinction here. Highlight graphics here. And there it is. It's a little simple value study, looking at some of the details and so forth. Yeah, I got it. See the process. Yeah, it's interesting how it all comes together here at Terra. So it's kind of, let's go back here and get this guy all squared away here. It's kind of a flat upper on this beauty. Change of variation here. So, glass in place. Let's really be bold with this guy. Let's get this thing really screaming here. Is that on the screen level? Yeah, very good. So make sure it stays on the screen here. Run that through. Run that through. Number 2 gray. Yeah, number 1 gray. There it is. Knock this thing out. Where did I do that thing? Oh, there it is. Very cool. Got it. There it is. A bit of horizon line in this thing. And a bit of sky color, a little bit of sky, real simple. And last but not least, a little bit of definition here. That lighting graphics. All right, what do you think there? Interested? It's making sense for you? Coming together all right? I mean, very simple sketches, but hopefully just driving it, getting a theme down here, and taking advantage of what we've got in terms of what the impact of the sketches might look like in terms of scale, proportion, definition changes, and the like. So there we go. I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to go back here. Let's just do this. Keep it nice and easy. Maybe it's button number 3 down below here. Or maybe it's this. This would be kind of fun. Different color patch. Grade that off just a bit. Yeah, not bad. A bit of a difference here. Let's get a little bit of this intake back here. And what happens with this? The number 1 gray. This is number 4. That's going to work all right. There it is. And last but not least, let's get this guy in place. A little change of pace here. Into that. Into this. And this. And last but not least here, oh, let's do this. This will be fun. And they're a nice, simple, almost a body in white surface. Just a little bit of a detailed paddle on the front quarter. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with these sketches. Cool to see you vary the approach slightly from sketch to sketch with an overall technique. Yeah, it's a very it's not a laborious process at all in Terrace. What I've really done is just kind of taken some very simple operations and more stain, less stain, more body, more sketch. But I think the thing I'm really intrigued by in this family of sketches here is just a very simple gesture in terms of laying down very loose sketches. Nothing's very definitive. I'm looking for a theme based. I think that's probably the most important part of all here. But do you think it was worthwhile to make sense here? So far, so good. Did the concept work make sense? Hopefully. So it's pretty neat. So there's a place. Go back and throw a real quick review here, and we'll see where the progress has been made here. So that was the last one we did. Let's go back to here. Let's go to the first one we looked at here. So I started there, and again, same basic overall package size, same overall length, but variations in theme. We're looking at uppers, body forms, underneath it all, looking at detail, where the skirts might go, what the wheel, the tires. I didn't get into a lot of graphics in terms of putting a lot of black in the tires. Just kept a nice loose sketch and getting more of the surface work done. Looking at daylight openings, clad forming underneath the shape, etc. That little spear coming off the front quarter, front end graphic changes. That was the first plate we did. Then we went into this guy, and the second variation, I think, a little bit more tone to these things and kind of grade them off a little bit. Then you lighter surface back here, almost Maserati-like. So it's an interesting set of circumstances where you just explore some of the shapes, and I think some of the format of, for example, this one has a lot of strength to it in terms of full upper rearward, a lot of stroke back here, almost speed tail look to it. So I'm just looking at the variations on theme, and I think that your question earlier, Terrace, was interesting. What's the process behind this? What's the method? And the method again is just taking a simple elevation and creating more interest in them, changing the variation in theme, getting details changes and so forth, scale changes, glass looking, format, uppers, slope of windshield, all the little changes that come about to arrive at a pretty decent theme before it goes into a full-size study here. That was the first one. The last one, again, very clean, very open-ended, almost like a flat upper on this guy, almost like a fastback, like a slant back. Interesting looking here, sketches, and just again, what I'm looking at here, I think, the more I look at these sketches, the more I'm looking at in favor of something in this character here, where you have a lot of long hood, a lot of real deep glass, and a lot of really good slope on the upper, and it gives it more of an excellent kind of a delegante feel to it. So that was basically it. And then last but not least, let me put these back together again. Just spent a little time before on stream here today with that family of shapes. But I think if we carry on with what kind of feedback on this, I started to do a series of sketches here of what it might look like in the rear three-quarter. So there's a little bit of a line study here. I haven't put any sketch to it yet, or any form to it yet, but I'm just looking at how to break up those shapes and get a long speed tail look to it here. So if we get some good feedback on this, maybe next week we'll pick it up with maybe a front three-quarter, rear three-quarter, and walk around this thing. So at any rate, I still want to make sure that we change format from week to week and do some very interesting things in terms of looking at maybe it's automotive, then it's product, then it's architecture, interior space. And I think if you don't mind, interiors, if you're still on board, I really would appreciate if you could maybe take a second and take a peek at saying, hey, what if we did this? What if you looked at these kind of things? These are things we're kind of dealing with here. I mean, I've got a pretty good format in terms of where to go with some of the instructional pieces. Just interesting how it all comes together here. So if you have any input in terms of what you'd like to see done, great. Gladly comply and get some things taken care of for you here too. And before I sign off, once again, I really appreciate your sending emails and Terrence. You make my day, quite honestly. I open it up and I say, hey, you've done some more sketches in development time. It's gotten really strong, and Terrence, and I think you're getting a better understanding. And I'm saying this not as a criticism, but as observation. You're getting stronger with proportions. The scale looks good. You're moving into shape studies, and I think the magic of understanding surface and work and taking chances is coming very clearly through your sketches. So keep that up. I think that's a tremendous asset that you're going through here. So very interesting. It's neat stuff. If anything in particular comes to mind, that'd be great. Love to do it. Let me know if you've got something you want to do that comes to mind. Bring it up, and I'll be happy to help you as best I can here. But I think for the future reference here, I might carry on with this program. Next week, I might change gears and go back to a volumetric study or something like an instructional piece, like we did a couple of weeks back. Hopefully, we won't get any Cloudflare problems as we go through the process here. But again, I can't thank you enough, Antares, for tuning in. Very loyal and appreciate it altogether. Very good stuff to work with here. And again, I really encourage you to keep going. You're doing some great stuff. So all that to say, please visit my website at drcontrast.com. And if you have any notes or anything you want to pass along, either your friends get an idea of some sort interest to work with, please let me know. And I can be reached at jim@drcontrast.com. Be happy to help. Looking forward to doing some things between now and next week. Hopefully we won't get interrupted again to keep all the systems in order. And again, I just want to sign off with this very important but last final note, and it's always been very sincere from me. Never forget to dare to remember to be great, because you are. Have a great week. Take care of yourself. We'll see you next Wednesday. And go get them. Thank you. Bye-bye now.